Today's program is sponsored by the Anthony Vincent Salon. Say hello to beautiful.
You're listening to Trend Radio, where we talk about what's hot and what's not. Get into the loop with us. I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise. And we're your radio gateway to what's trending with beauty, fashion, health, wellness, and sex.
Oh, no sex today.
Learn and laugh with us anytime, anyplace. Go right to our website, anthonyvincentsalon.com. Click away and listen today.
You'll be glad you did.
You absolutely will be.
Oh, do we have a great show today?
Of course we do, because it's us.
We always have a great show. But our show is G-rated today. Because we have a upcoming entrepreneur named Kwale, and he is a high-tech guy. He will film your wedding, not videotape it. He will actually make a movie of your wedding.
Amazing, too.
Yes. Has a production company, and he is a director of the up-and-coming motion picture Walt Before Mickey. A great show.
I love Disney.
It is all about Disney today, and he'll be with us right after this. This portion of our show is sponsored by Susan Eckley Ruck of ID Life, not a one-size-fits-all nutritional program.
ID Life stands for Individually Designed Life, where nutrition is personal, formulated just for you and your needs.
Get started today. Take the free HIPAA-compliant health assessment.
healthforlife.idlife.com.
That's the number 4.
Or give Susan a call, 609-712-1351.
Follow her on Facebook.
You'll be glad you did.
Elise, we have a fabulous guest.
A very
today.
exciting guest. Yes, we do.
Extremely exciting,
We
extremely
have-
talented.
Very much so, absolutely. And I will introduce him. I will say hello to Kwale. How are you this morning?
I am good. Thank you
Kwa,
for having
pleasure
me.
to meet you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to
Thank
have you
you.
here.
Thank you.
Yes, we are so excited about you. Oh, gosh. So first off, how did you arrive comfortably? I mean, I know you had a little bit of a drive and you hit some traffic.
it was okay. I mean, I'm not a morning person.
Me either.
So this is like I don't wake up at 8 o'clock. I usually wake up at 10 or 11 o'clock. So for me to wake up at 8 o'clock and then to go through all that traffic, it was a lot. But it was worth coming over here.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm so excited. You
Well,
look
now-
pretty vibrant, though.
Yeah, now you wake up at 10 o'clock normally, but how late do you normally go?
Sleep?
To the evening, working and doing what you
About
need to
4 to 5 o'clock in the morning every day.
Of course.
Okay, now I wake up super early every morning because I have to.
Yeah.
I have to be at the salon basically by 8. So but I also go to sleep about 4 or 5 in the morning. So you
Yeah.
see, I'm never
I
sleeping.
know. I emailed you last night. You were responding at 12 midnight. I said, wow, okay, someone's up pretty late.
Yeah.
Sort
Oh
of,
no,
which
you
is
could have
not late.
emailed me at 3 and I would have
Yeah,
responded.
she would have been up.
Yeah, I'm always up. It's one of those things. But why don't you tell us about yourself?
Okay, so
Tell us what you do.
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. I own a company called KVI Productions, and I'm also the film director for Walt Before Mickey.
Yes, I know. I'm so excited. I am a humongous Disney fan. Huge.
I heard.
Yes, I love Disney.
I think you might know of Disney more than me.
I know a lot about Walt Disney, but don't fool yourself here. I know a lot about you too.
Elise often comes to work dressed as some type of princess. from
Yeah?
Disney. Yes, she does.
My favorite one, though, is, do you remember who my favorite one is, Anthony?
I do not.
Snow White.
Snow White.
Oh,
Yes,
that's-
growing
How
up-
could I forget that?
Well, my hair was always very black and my skin was always very, very pale with rosy cheeks, so they used to call me Snow White.
Why you like Snow White?
Just because people thought I looked like her growing up, and she was so sweet. And
Yeah,
she was so sweet.
Snow White was.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sweet. You always tell me I'm sweet.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Okay. Here's an interesting one. Where were you born?
I was born in Thailand, but I'm not Thai. Everyone thinks I'm Thai. I'm Vietnamese.
Okay, when did you come to America then?
1980.
Very
so
cool.
I was here actually when it was we came over here. I came over about maybe 3 months old.
Oh, okay.
And
was
I
gonna
was
say
living
you
in
had to be a
Michigan.
child.
I was living in Michigan for about I think almost a year.
So you basically grew up in the United States.
Yeah, I grew up in the United
Yeah.
States. Yeah.
But I still hear a little bit of an accent.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
I
Well,
could
I
barely
mean, it
speak
could
my
be-
own language, yet I still have an accent. It's just the
But
weirdest
your
thing.
family probably has an accent too, and you grew up with your family.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so
yes.
they do, and they grew up
Yeah.
where they grew up.
Yeah, but
So-
you know what? I'm terrible. I can't even speak my language very well to my parents. So it's like it's Vietnamese and English at the same time, and they don't understand. So we have this little language barrier.
You have a language barrier
A lot of
with
sign
you.
language
Oh,
is
that
happening.
is a riot.
It's do you know what I mean? I don't, but I think you do.
Oh, that is so funny. I was reading on your Facebook, you had quite an amazing quote, and I loved it. And I'm just going to read this quote because I want you to discuss it with us. You wrote, "It's not about what you know or what you can do. It's about doing it and executing it successfully."
Right, absolutely, absolutely. I believe in everything. It's about quality. People do things. Okay, let me go backwards. I was in the music industry for about 10 years, and I see people putting out all this music, and it wasn't that good. It's just getting through it. And I said that, you know what? I mean, I didn't understand why. So I said if I was producing great quality music, then I might have a chance at doing anything. And it kind of jumped into that with all my business ethics that I did when I was doing K-Vibe Productions. So
What made you do K-Vibe Productions? What ignited that spark for you?
I wanted to create a community for musicians.
And you were a piano player.
Yes.
Okay. Classical, rock,
Pop and R&B.
pop. Oh, okay.
Oh, nice.
R&B.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Very
yes.
nice.
Yeah, no one would think that Asian guy would be able to do an R&B
Hey.
record.
Hey, you never know.
Yeah.
It's not about what you think, it's about what you actually know.
Right. And so, I would pound tons of hours into just making sure that I created a quality product, and that's what it was all about. And that kind of sat with me with the whole time when I was building the company and finding quality people, finding from buying equipment, everything had to be a quality product for me.
I completely agree with that. I think quality is very important.
Huge.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
To me, it's about branding. You could,
We agree with that.
Yes, we do.
It's all about branding. So, you could do all this short-term stuff. People might do short-term profits. But with branding, it could last you for the rest of your life.
And how can you brand something if it's not quality?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Unless you want to brand unquality stuff.
Then why would you want to do that? Then it doesn't.
I think there are companies that do
There's
that.
companies that do that.
Yeah.
because they
I
cater to
know there
certain
are.
markets. Yeah.
I know there are. We don't.
Yeah.
So I just
Right.
I don't agree with that. I
Right.
think that's horrible.
Right.
Did you write and your own music and lyrics and music?
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's where I really got the sense of storytelling, because I always told stories through my music at the time. And but it's and being able to put visuals to the music was something I always had in mind when I was writing it. But I never thought I was going to ever be a film director. I created K-Vibe Productions to be like this MySpace type of community where producers, writers, and artists get to work with one another and do business with one another.
See how things evolve? We're
Yeah.
saying that all the time.
All the time evolving.
Yeah, everything evolves, just based on what you're doing.
Right.
All of a sudden something else happens.
But that failed miserably. That failed miserably because
And when you fail, you learn.
yes, absolutely. It failed because I didn't understand how to do business. So I thought e-commerce business was put a credit card, the merchant account, and make it happen, right? It didn't work that way. I didn't go through all the securities. I was getting hacked. I spent $1,000 just getting hacked.
Oh my.
As a startup company, undercapitalized already, and you're getting hacked, and so it was like I had to shut the business down. I couldn't handle it.
Wow.
And then I turned K-Vibe Productions into a blogging site. And then I had this idea. I said, you know what? New technology is coming around, better cameras, better lenses, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, what if I put music videos to every song that I did? And so I went for that idea, but I had no idea how to put a music video together. I didn't know how to shoot it. So I learned photography, and I spent thousands of hours learning how to do photography, doing fashion portraits, to events, to doing candids. Only to get categorized as a photographer. And so after that, I stopped doing photography. That's when I knew, when I was getting hired professionally to do photography, I knew that, okay, and I was getting paid well for it. I said, you know what? At least I know that I'm qualified to do it. So now let's start making a film, or let's make a music video. But I didn't know how to make a music. I couldn't put a story. For some reason, I couldn't put a story to a music video. And so I thought what's easier was to make a film. I made a short film. To other people, it was the other way around. To me, the short film was much easier. So I created a film called Deny. It was my first short film
And you
And
won
that-
an award, right?
Yeah.
at the New York International Film Festival.
Yeah.
And my film was, I mean, this is the first time I went into it. My script was all in bullet points. My storyboard was all in my head. And I rehearsed by myself. And you watched, I went to the location. I would stay there for hours rehearsing as if I had an imaginary person. Because I didn't want to embarrass myself, because people knew me as this person, this guy that of quality. And so if they saw me doing something really bad, it was embarrassing to me. So I pretended this. Okay, how should I do it? How should I do that? And people, I'm like. It's almost like I'm a schizo outside.
So you're by yourself. The characters that you're directing are in your head.
Yes.
And you are visualizing everything
Yeah.
that.
Now that's amazing.
Yeah, that really
Visualize,
is.
and then later on, once I got that locked in, I had brought in my friend Joe Nunez, and he
We love
was
Joe.
Yeah,
Joe's
we
actually
like-
going to we're going to record Joe also.
Joe, he's
Yeah,
awesome. He's
he's a
awesome.
He's
great guy.
awesome, yeah. I'm waiting for a date on that.
How were you financed during this time with the photography, the film?
I was working for Ernst & Young at the same time, so I had quite a few jobs over time, and Ernst & Young was my first job getting out of college. It was the only corporate
Where
job
did you
out
go
of
to college?
I went to Rutgers,
Okay.
and then I went to Juilliard.
Yeah.
later.
I was waiting for you to say Juilliard because that's so impressive.
But I was working for Ernst & Young as a computer techie. I was fixing computers. I was fixing computers for 2 years, and I learned I had to. They told me that I only had a 6-week job. I said, all right, whatever. I'm just working. And then I saw 15 contractors that was working with me, and I said, you know what? I actually like this environment. I actually want this job. How do I get this job? Then he said, well, only 1 out of the 15 could actually get a full-time job over here. So I was determined to compete with every guy in that room.
And you got that job.
I got the job.
Of course you did, because you wanted that job.
I wanted the job, right? So I worked extra hours. I made the best. I did all my due diligence. I created a lot of relationships in the company, and I just knew that. I knew that if I was to make sure that I wanted it, I showed everybody that I wanted the job so badly compared to everybody else, that people were going to see that.
Well, of course, that's what happens.
Right.
Do you think that at that point you were doing so much more than you were being paid for? To
Oh yeah,
prove-
absolutely. I was getting paid. How much I was getting paid? Like $12 an hour or something.
But that's the whole point. Always do more than you're
Absolutely.
expected to do.
Absolutely.
more than what you're paid for.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. That's my whole life. That's my whole life.
So at this point, how many films have you directed?
Oof. I've done 8 short films.
Wow.
I did 6 short films in my first year.
Right. That I
did.
read, yeah.
I did 3 music commercials in the first year when I started out, and I did quite a few commercials. Altogether, I've done about 10 films.
Wow, that's awesome.
And how old
maybe-
are you?
I'm 34.
I'm 30. Oh, okay.
34.
You
don't-
definitely don't
No,
look
I
like
thought you were 24.
Yeah, no, he said before when he came here, it was in 1980 and he was 3 months old. So he was born in 1980.
Yeah. I mean, and then now I think altogether I've done like 20 plus, corporate / commercials, and
That's awesome.
tons of music videos and
You
films.
even did the theme song for the animated movie Barbie and a Fashion
Oh yeah,
Fairy Tale.
yeah. I worked with Tiffany Gardenia.
Gardenia, yeah.
Yeah. She was like, she's part of this whole Disney clique.
Yes,
of
yes.
People. Oh, so you know of her?
Well, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I do because I know weird things like that.
She knows
I know,
a lot of weird stuff.
I know a lot of weird Disney stuff. Yeah. I also know there were over 1 million views on YouTube just in a very short period of time.
period of time, right? And I was called on and said, "Hey, Quan, we need you to produce this music for her, this record for her." They had wrote a song already, but it wasn't, and they needed to do it for LA. They said, "Hey, we need your vocal production. We need to do all that." So they brought me in right in the last minute and recorded in a single day.
You worked with a lot of really impressive people, various independent and major recording artists. A lot of them.
Tell us who they are.
Yeah.
Blow your
I worked
own
with
horn.
Stacey Orico.
That's awesome.
She's a Christian artist, actually. Supposedly, I never thought she was a Christian artist, but until I started listening to her music more, it was all Christian.
Yeah.
Right.
I worked with Little Eddie and Aritza in the past. They were EMI. They wrote for Whitney Houston,
Yes.
Michael Jackson, and a slew of all the major artists. I don't know if people remember like Changing Faces. I worked with them back in the days.
Yeah.
And I worked with Next. I'm not sure. They were, these are older groups, but mostly a lot of the artists I worked with were they were signed to like Atlantic. They were signed to Bad Boy, like Nelson. Universal
rather.
But they never got out. That was the thing. They were signed but never released.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They're good.
Yeah, right.
They're good.
And one of the major producers that I worked with was Rockweiler.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's a good friend of mine, a really cool guy. He had this artist named Julian Believe, and I was actually in the Bahamas working on his music video.
Was
as
that
well.
recent?
Yeah, that was the recent one in the Bahamas.
when I was talking to you. Yeah. And you were
yeah.
telling me, I'm going to the Bahamas. I'll have to go shoot this video. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'll be back, and then we'll come here. Yeah, that was recently. Okay. Wow.
Right.
Yeah, that's a great gig. Yeah, I got to go to Bahamas to work today.
Yeah, but Bahamas is not what people think it is.
No?
To me, it's still like a third world country over there. It's you have this paradise island that everyone thinks of, Atlantis and everything else. Going to the other side of the bridge is a totally different story.
Yeah,
You're
we
talking
don't
about
cross the bridge.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're talking
Let's
about
not-
Nassau?
Huh?
You're
In
talking about Nassau,
yeah, very different.
Yeah.
Very, very different.
We're not
it's-
crossing the bridge, Anthony. So, do you also have your own horror website series?
Yes, you know what? When I opened my first office up, I had all these interns that came to me, and I didn't know how to make. I had an office that I didn't know how to make any money out of it, and I said, you know what? Let me start a project up. Let me call it. So I called the web series called Case of Guilt. And Joe. He was actually my first subject to the pilot. And after that, I ended up. I wanted to teach students and interns on how to make a film, and I wanted to be branded as that film company. What better way to start was to do a web series,
Oh, that's awesome. And you can actually see that at kvibe.com.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, Casey, that's the first part of it. We have other scripts for further development, but as the company got much busier, I had to put that aside because now we got demanding clients that needed.
Oh, there's always demanding
yes,
clients.
We love those demanding clients, yes.
Yeah,
Well, they pay.
Absolutely.
If you're joining us just now, your favorite salon is now your favorite radio show.
We make you healthier, wealthier, and sexier every time you listen.
Tune in to us. I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise, and we're Trend Radio, and we are with
Quale.
Yes, he's amazing. I hope you're enjoying what you're hearing because he is incredible. I just have to say this one thing. I'm pretty excited about this because when my kids were growing up, they loved the show Full House.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they loved the show. The girls were always so cute.
Me too.
And I know.
I was
Okay,
you, Sean. I think I
all
watched every episode.
So the girl who's playing Charlotte Disney in Walt Before Mickey,
It's Jodie Sweetin. Yes.
and she's in this, and I got really excited when I was looking through the cast, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's on her third marriage. What's up with that?
Oh, I don't know her personal life on that type of level, but I know that when I met her, she's a sweetheart.
Oh, and she's so pretty.
Yeah.
She's just so pretty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was having dinner with her, and we walked into the restaurant, and everyone just still knows her. She still looks the same.
Yeah, she's so
Still
cute.
looks. I said, "You look like that girl from Full House." And
Yeah,
we're like,
well, I am
and I'm
that
like,
girl.
yeah, because that's her.
Yeah.
And then everyone's crowding around her, getting autographs from her. She must be getting bombarded everywhere she goes.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
Did you find that annoying, or does she find it annoying?
No, and I think it's part of their culture. I think I got to work with David Henry, and he's a huge Disney star.
Yeah.
He got mobbed, literally. Like, women would push me out of the way just to get a picture with them. Like, without even, it's just like, it was like almost as Justin Bieber walked through a mall. It was just like that.
I will say, though, that the two guys that you got to play Walt, everybody got to play Walt and Roy, they look like they're doing a great job just
Yes.
on the trailer alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fabulous
absolutely. I think with Thomas Ian Nicholas from He played in American Pie as Kevin.
Yes.
He's phenomenal. He's a good friend of mine now. He's extremely talented.
He's a great actor.
Oh God,
Great actor.
It's amazing. He could be texting and thinking of something, joking around, and when I call, and he's not even paying attention. When I call action, he's in character
That quick.
immediately. That quick. It's just transformation. I said, dude, you're amazing. How do you do that? It's just, I don't know. I've been doing that for 20 plus years. It's just kind
it's what they do.
It's what they
Yeah.
do. Consistently. His eye movement, his hand movement, exactly duplicated the same each and every time. I would do 10 takes with him, and he could.
Well,
do
they
exactly.
study the person. They study the
Yeah.
character, and they're in that character. They are that person.
To me, as a first-time feature director, and this is my first time working with some, known actors in Hollywood, I was amazed, and it made my job so much easier because
But now you're working with a professional.
Exactly. I was so used to working with artists that were, they were just coming up in the industry, and they would make tons of mistakes, and that's what I was used to. And I was used to running even some lines on them, meaning like, okay, let's do it over, let's do it this way, let's do that, coaching them really, coaching them like crazy. Here, I was like, hey, this is the direction, this is the spine of the character. This is what I'm kind of looking for. I said, all right, let me give you a few variations, Squad. You like that? Oh, how about this? I was like, yeah, perfect. Awesome. I like that. This is great. I said, good. I said, then, and then what Tom and John had told me, said, Qua, we're going to just give you a performance, and your job here is just tell it if it's good or not. That's all we want you to do, and that's actually how a director is supposed to be handling, not coaching an actor how to act. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's when I got my first big lesson. It was the first day. I was so nervous on my first day on the set that he said, Qua, just make sure our performance is great, and if it's great, then I know we're doing a good job for you. And that was it.
Awesome.
So
you came into this mid-production.
Yes. The production was they were well before Mickey was in production for since July of last year. So it was a good 6 months, and unfortunately another director was hired on board, and he was let go after the 6 days.
Just 6 days?
6 days into production.
I guess it didn't work out.
Yeah, it just didn't work out. I mean, there were a lot of political issues that I can't really get into.
Okay.
Sure.
But a friend of mine had called me. His name is Christian Vogler. I did a few short films with him, and
why does that name sound familiar to me?
he was a second assistant director he worked on like Batman. He worked on House of Cards. He might be on
that's
credits.
why.
Maybe.
Because I actually look at the credits.
Oh.
I actually do.
So
You do?
do I.
Yeah, I look at the credits
do.
because
Yeah,
we work with
we
so
do.
many different people, and we do so much hair and makeup in different events and things like that you never know who you're working on.
Right.
So and they're always
And we
somebody.
come across people we know all the time.
Yeah,
all the
so I
time.
always look at the credits. I always,
Yeah.
you never know. So okay, that's why his name sounds familiar.
And so Christian, I had helped him executive produce his short film.
Okay.
I put out equipment. I gave him all my crew, and I did it as a favor. I just gave it to him, like no money or anything like that. And in return, I said, hey, if you could just be successful at what you do. He later got into AFI out in California. And on Christmas Eve, he gave me a call. He says, hey, you want to direct a feature film about Walt Disney?
Yes.
And I'm like, me? Why? First I'm like, I said, I never did a feature film. I said, but he said, Qua, here's the situation. The production is in shambles at the moment right now because we lost the director. The AD was also let go, and they need to get this production going within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
So just in 6 days, the production became a shamble.
Yeah.
What, that quick?
You know what?
That quick,
Things happen.
easily.
Sometimes you put somebody in control of something and they don't know what they're doing. And, the entire United States could be in shambles.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of situations to I heard that the director was really good. He won awards and stuff, and he was a much older person, but he, I don't know, I don't think he clicked with the producers over there.
Oh, that's a shame for him,
And,
but it's
yeah.
great for you.
Yeah.
Fabulous for you, Qua.
It was, it was a good setup, right?
Absolutely.
So I was very nervous coming on board. I was, I'm not gonna lie about that. But I knew that when I built the company, I said, and this is the reason why I had such loyalty within my organization, was that I I said, we are going to be a film company, and we want to be the next. Our goal is to be the next Paramount. Paramount started somewhere. We're going to start somewhere, and and we're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. So he said, "Hey, Kwa." So we were in our infant stages of building the company, and we were growing very rapidly with it. He said, "Kwa, we're gonna take care of your company. You need to go out there and make a film." And whether you fail or succeed, we're still going to be there for you. But if you failed, not a big deal, except that you may hurt your name, right? But if you succeed, then it's about 10 steps higher for us. And you gave us, you would give anybody that works for you more hope and in building the company up and staying loyal to you and working with you, throughout your duration of your career. And I said, you're right. I said, you know what? I'm going to take this risk. And I just went down there and did it.
Well, I'm sure you did a great job, and based on the trailer alone, it's fabulous.
Yeah,
you
really
have
good.
you have a fabulous cast that
Yes.
you're working with. It's gonna and let's face it, people love Disney. They love Walt Disney.
Absolutely.
I know I do.
Huge.
I know I'm going to see the movie. I know that. I know that my family will. I know that my friends will because it's amazing.
Right.
We're going to be pushing it. That's for sure.
I didn't know much about Walt Disney. I mean, I was a fan of his of the animations and cartoons, but I didn't know much about Walt Disney coming to Florida. So I had to read 600-page book. I crammed all this knowledge within 3 weeks.
You know what I find amazing about him is that he was so persistent because he truly believed in himself and his dream.
Absolutely.
And
Just like you do.
I feel, he just kept going and going. 300 banks before they would give him the money to
Yeah.
build Disneyland.
Yeah.
And he kept going.
Kept
I
going.
mean, after the first and the second and the third, people are, well, I guess this isn't for
Right.
me. 300?
Persistence.
300
Absolutely.
because he knew. And that's what it is. It's the law of attraction. He knew, and he knew it was going to work.
He didn't accept failure as an option. And,
No, it was no option.
in the movie. You will see that it's not just his there's always a reason for everyone to be inspired and be motivated, and I could totally relate to his story. He relates to his spine was to please his father. At the end of the day, he had a rough childhood growing up.
Yes.
His father it was a tough love situation with him, and the father didn't really believe in him in his animations and
So it was
his
proof.
cartoons.
He
and
needed
stuff.
to prove. He needed to
He
prove
needed
this.
to prove it, and I think deep down inside of him, it was this underlying emotion that I need to please my father, and it's the same way. So I took that and I engraved it into me because my father was the same way. I'm like, even my father is much nicer than Walt Disney's father. I had to. I wanted to make sure that I pleased my father as well, and I said, it's I'm going to take the same exact personal experience and put that into the movie.
Wow. See, that's very heavy. Yeah, I have a dad like that too. What projects are you currently developing?
We have 15 projects. We have a movie called The Cliff. It's funded. It's not greenlit yet. The script is still being completed, but that's the next movie. And we have another movie
Can you
called...
tell us what it's about?
It's a film noir, insurance ad type of film, like maybe almost Sin City like, but
Ooh.
yeah.
With,
That's
with
hot.
animation and
No,
mostly
no,
green
it's-
screen stuff.
No, it's well, I mean, every movie has some type of CGI involved, especially shooting wider shots or whatever it is, and depending on the budget, that's where it goes. But this movie is supposed to be this insurance ad type of film noir, dark. The executive producer wanted something on that type of level because he hasn't seen that in the screens anymore. So it's something that he wanted to do, and he asked me if I was interested in producing and directing it, and I'm like, yeah, sure, just let me know, sure. And then there's another movie that was my friend Frank Licari. He's actually one of the writers of Walt Before Mickey as well. He was optioned to do to write this book called The Widow's Lock or Widow's Walk or something like that. I forgot.
It sounds good,
Yeah.
though. It sounds
And,
eerie.
Widow's Watch.
Yeah, Widow's Watch, or Widow's Widow's Watch.
A widow's watch is back during the war was a little thing on top of the house.
Yes,
Where-
there we go. That was it. Yeah, there's a
and
book
they-
on it actually.
Yes, and they look out there and to see if their the husbands are
Right.
coming home, and
Yeah, so that we're doing a movie on that. So there's a there's a lot of interest in that one. And there's a slew of TV show. There's a slew of other idea concepts that we have that I can't really display.
Of course you can.
There's
but
about
you're definitely
actually
working on a lot.
there's actually about 8 films projects that's in the line
Oh,
that
wow.
I want to work on. And there's about 7 to 8 TV shows, and there's a few, I'm not a big reality show fan, but I don't mind producing it. And we
Right.
have that. So, I mean, part of that's why I'm actually going to China and all these other international places to look for funding for these projects. But hey, in order to become the next Paramount, you have to think big. You have to.
Well, go big or go home.
Yeah, exactly.
We always say that.
it's written on our
we
truck.
Have to, we have to.
Yeah.
I'm not looking to direct every project. I'm looking to. My first priority is really the company, making sure that all the things that I promised to my employees, all of my staff that worked their blood, sweat, and tears for me in the beginning, for almost nothing in the beginning, that I'm going to come back with something of what I promised. And that's one of my biggest goals.
See, that's
That's
so
the type
important.
of man this young
That's-
fellow is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A stand-up guy, and that's important.
Now, you said you were looking for funding. Is that part of what you do? I mean, I thought that is a specialty in itself, asking people for money.
Yes, you know what? I just like music, just like films, I've always dived into, and just like business, I've always dived into something that I didn't know. I was like, I only did things that made sense to me. Just making a film. I never went to film school. Nobody had taught me how to make a film. I just did things by common sense to what I watched on screen. And I learned all my mistakes through that. The same thing with business. I made tons of business mistakes, business moves, and now funding is the different stage of my life where, okay, I don't know how to get funding, but I know that this is who I am. If you believe in what I've been doing, then there's a chance that I could possibly succeed in my ventures.
Oh, that's awesome.
I mean, all you could do as a person is say that I'm passionate at what I do. Or, just like anybody, I'm passionate about it. I believe in it, and I back it up with the work that you do. That's all it is.
Kwa, how do you define success?
Oh, I mean, success is always ongoing. It's about achieving.
Always evolving, yeah.
It's always evolving. I mean, it's always about success is when you could create new goals for yourself.
I agree with that.
You
I
have to,
agree with that.
because you reach once you achieve something, you're gonna want something else.
That's right.
That's the
You
way
always
it
have
is.
to keep it moving. So if you keep achieving, if you create new goals for yourself, that means you're achieving. And
Do you
that, to me, I
consider
believe success.
failure part of success?
Absolutely, you have to fail.
Yes, of
you have
course.
to fail. You have
The
to
only
make
way you
mistakes.
learn.
You have to fail. It's yeah, absolutely. And,
I always said success was a journey, not a destination, as you just said, because
Yes.
once you reach your goal, it's something else along the line.
Right. I mean, a failure is when you actually give up at something. Like at the time, younger, I was when I gave up, when I hung my hat for music, I said, I guess I failed in music, but it actually didn't, because I actually took all that experience in music and put that into the film world. All the businesses that I failed,
Right.
and all the people that I was able to connect with and create. I didn't have a personality when I started in the music industry. I was like, like really this tiny guy that's trying to make music. And then when I started working with people like that were so experienced, and they kind of enlightened me on just creating relationships with one another. That's how I was able to direct a film, because through the music. You're coming up and you don't know how to sing, or you do know how to sing, and then you have to work with them on this type of very very intimately, and you're communicating to them. It's the same way when you're directing a film. You're working with the actors, and on a larger scale, and you're figuring out how to send out a certain emotion by not saying, hey, give me happy. It doesn't work that way. You know,
Yeah.
say, no, imagine what was that most happiest spot, the place that you've been at recently. Now put that in your perspective, put that in your head, and let's put it into this film. Here's the situation. You know, can you relate to it? You know, so I try to figure out every actor's what their sad moments are, what the happy moments are, and just really get deep into their soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I learned that
you
through
can
music.
Find that. Wow.
Because, you know, some music, I could have the best singer, but they won't sing any emotions because they're so blocked out for something else. Then I would have to say, all right, imagine this, blah, 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 blah. And I could make them emotional, I could make them cry, and then they would sing, and then the music just soars after that.
You know, that's really a gift. What you're able to do to bring that out in other people. I don't think that could be learned. I really believe
No, that's part of who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm an emotional person. I used to play baseball, and I used to cry on the field a lot because if we lose a game,
Yeah.
I would get so disappointed. I was so hard on myself. Even if we lose a game as a team, I would just be so disappointed in myself. And the crazy thing is that nobody else would be disappointed. I would be disappointed. And I just didn't understand. I just hate losing. I didn't like to be number 2. I always wanted to be number 1. And I would do everything to be number 1 that's if it's morally correct.
Yeah.
You know, I know people that's trying to be number 1, but they're pushing people over, blah, blah, blah. That wasn't my nature. I said, I'm going to do the right thing and
still be number 1.
And try to be number 1.
And that's what's special about you, Kwa.
Oh, thank you.
Did your
wonderful.
parents instill this in you?
Yeah, my parents told me, it's like, you know, it doesn't matter how much money you make, just be happy at what you do. And
We always say that all the
and
time.
be good at what you do. That's all.
Do your best.
Do your best. That's all it was.
Always do your best.
Which is harder for me, you know, because, you know, if they were to tell me do this, do that, do this, I would take it lighter for myself. But if they took me, but because they were so like, just do what you love to do, and I know you will be successful at it. It just makes it put more pressure on me. I thought it's like, oh God, now I got really pleased them.
See, but that's funny because that's what I say to my kids too.
Yeah?
Just do what you love and just do your best at it.
Yeah.
If you're
yeah.
doing what you love, it's not work.
Yeah.
You're doing something you love to do.
Absolutely.
And there's your passion. And when you do what you love, you have it. It shows.
Yeah. It's every month I would give them set up a meeting with my staff, and I always give them try to give them a motivational speech, because sometimes a lot of people, when they're working, even for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, they forget what their goals were. They go into this certain routine of just working and working. And I would just get them back and say, okay, here guys, here's the situation over here. And it's not about what you guys are doing. Just trust me, you guys might be going to put the mail into mailbox or something like that. Every piece of your time creates what the company is all about, and it creates the situation. And so I want to make sure that my crew would be able to be inspired each and every time. And it's not easy. I guess it's not easy to do, and these are young guys that I work with, young women as well, and they have to always be inspired.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. If you are just joining us now, we are sitting with Kwa Le, and oh God, he's amazing, isn't he, Anthony?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're talking about his life, his aspirations, his
career,
achievements,
which is incredible.
his absolute charisma, and his movie, soon to
Yes.
be released.
Yes,
Walt
Before Mickey.
Walt Before Mickey.
Such a Disney fan. And you can also check him out at kvibe.com, right?
Yes.
Right, Kwa?
Yep.
Anything else? Any other email or anything that you want people to know?
I mean, probably a better form to stay in contact would be the Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, facebook.com/kvibe. Even the Twitter as well. I'm not a big social media fan, but I mean, it's there.
It's there.
It's
right?
there. But Facebook, I'm pretty,
Yeah, I saw your Facebook. You're active.
I'm active on there,
Now, is that you that's active, or do you have people that do
I have
that
two
for
parts
you?
of the Facebook. I have the company page, which I have a person that kind of manages, and I have my personal Facebook, which is open to the public anyways, and
Right.
that's all me. That's all me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went on that.
Is there anything that you don't do?
You know what? It's I I can't swim that well.
Not everybody can.
I can't swim that well, and I don't play basketball that well. But but I know that anything that I do, I always put, at least I try to do my best to master it. I spend a lot of time, and whatever it is, I have to. If it's really important, then I dedicate a lot of time for it. I mean, literally, like at least like 1,000 hours. Even from like, I used to do Steadicam work because nobody else would do it, and I knew that I needed a Steadicam to do this, to do these shots. Who's gonna do it? I can't afford it, so I learned how to do Steadicam.
You strapped the Steadicam on.
I practiced 1,000 hours on it.
Wow.
I would do it, and I would run it for 8 hours a day, killing my back, killing my legs, my ankles. I would do it, and then once I got it, I would teach to somebody else to do it.
So you had to be really buff carrying this camera around.
It was
going
more balanced. You had to be more balanced.
More balanced. Okay.
Yeah, but it's tough. But it's I mean, I studied as much as I can, for cinema work. I'm always learning.
Everybody is always. That's the best part about life. If you love something, you're going to always continue to learn.
Right. And right now, it's like it's tough because running a business is not easy. Running a business is, I'm taking care of, like, I look at my employees as kids. You have to take care of them. Yeah. You have to nurture them and make sure that they stay inspired because, otherwise. I mean, that's the human nature. They will leave if you don't inspire them. They're always looking for some other values. As long the company, not just me, the company could instill values into them, and they could always constantly learn, be motivated.
And as long as you're consistent.
Yes, consistent with it, then I have a company. And that's the reason why it's grown. I mean, the numbers are out there. I mean, it's we've grown in 2012. We started with like $30,000 of grossing, and then now we're at 1.4 million.
Congratulations!
Wow, that's fabulous.
Thank
that is
you.
great.
Congratulations, Claude. That's fabulous.
So it's a various different. So it might be not things that people are passionate about at the services that we do, but it led us into working with the New York Yankees, and it led us working with
tell
Walt
us
Before
about
Mickey.
that.
Oh yeah,
The New York
We didn't
Yankees.
talk about the New York Yankees. Armando Gutierrez, and he's one of the owners of the minor league farm league for New York Yankees, and in Tampa. And he asked me, "Hey, you want to shoot a reality show?" I can't disclose what the reality show is about because it's still in pilot mode. But he said, "Yeah." I said, "Sure." But we don't have a budget. Of course, that's the story of my life. I said, but you know what? It's an opportunity, and just like any opportunity,
That's a huge one.
It's a huge opportunity. I said, hey guys, you want to come down to Florida and let's do it, and we ended up doing that.
Wow.
Now with this reality show, there's no budget. Are you looking for people to invest?
Absolutely. We have for this reality show.
No.
Well, this would be going through the Yankees, so we don't need that. But there's a bunch of reality shows that we have that we would love people to invest in. The great thing about reality show is that it's so fast. It's easy. You could easily produce it, and you could just get it out there. In the film world, it could take a whole year just to get a film done. And I guess that's why reality show boomed so quickly, so much.
Very cool.
Well, that is wonderful. You are just doing so well. Good for you.
Yeah, this is probably one of the greatest interviews that we've done.
I agree with you.
One of the easiest. The time has just flew by, and we still want to know more. We're hungry for more.
There's a lot more story.
I'm sure there is, and we would invite you to come back one day.
Thank you.
And just
and it won't be so early in the morning. We'll
make it later for you.
No, it's okay. I don't mind the earliness. It's just as long as it's not every day.
No. We won't do this again with you tomorrow.
Great.
But wow, I can't thank you enough for
thank you for
coming
inviting.
and sharing all of your wonderful everythings with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it was so wonderful. Thank you so much, Kwa.
And really, you really got to get out there and watch this movie. It will be opening soon.
Well, yeah, Jeff, check out the trailer definitely for it. Walt Before Mickey, and you'll see that it says director Kwa Lei, and you're going to see all these famous people that you already know. And you can check Kwa out definitely at kvibe.com and check out his Facebook too. Why don't you give that again, Kwa?
It's facebook.com/kvibe. Simple as that.
Yeah,
Great.
Twitter too.
I'm Anthony Vincent of Anthony Vincent Salon. Time for another fun and fabulous beauty tip with our tip chick. And here she is.
Got lips? Want that perfect pout? Find the hue that's right for you. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Shape, stain, and shimmer. Same shade. Say hello to beautiful.
Email us now from AnthonyVincentSalon.com. Remember, for the 150,000 hairs on your head, there's only one choice. Call us now at 609-448-2212. You'll be glad you did.
And now our very own gatekeeper of matrimonial law, Roseanne de Torres.
Check out DeTorres and DeGeorge, certified matrimonial law attorneys at dndfamilylaw.com.
You'll be glad you did.
Good morning.
Good morning, Roseanne. How are you?
Good morning to both of you.
How are you today?
I'm great.
Good.
And you?
We are always, what are we?
Fabulous.
Of course.
That is correct. So, Roseanne, I know that you have so many wonderful stories and you've been sharing them week by week with us. But
Yeah,
what-
really very interesting.
Oh,
Great
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. And
Great
just
stuff.
hearing her speak is amazing. But what if you have that's, something that's really horrific that turns out fabulous? Do you have something for us like that?
Yeah, I have one of my earliest clients. In fact, she was personal friends with my first paralegal. That's how I got this client. These ladies went to church together. She came to see me. She had been married for 10 or 15 years. She had 2 little girls. One of them died at the age of 5 of cancer. She didn't know it, but during the time that the child was sick for probably 2 years before she died. So it was a very difficult situation at home. During the time that the child was undergoing chemotherapy, her husband had been having an affair.
Oh.
When the child died, he basically pulled the trigger on the divorce and said the marriage is now over. And she's grieving. It didn't help that she kind of knew the child was going to eventually die. It just doesn't help when you lose a child. She was in a terrible way. She was devastated. She was
Heartbroken.
She was grieving. And this gentleman did really nothing to spare her at all from his lover or from his desire to leave the marriage. He wanted that divorce, and come hell or high water, he was going to get it, and her feelings be damned. He did nothing to even try to postpone it a little bit to give her an
Shame on
opportunity to
Was
get
this
on.
child his also?
Yeah, his
Oh,
child.
my God.
In fact, his lover was at the graveside
Oh.
crying as if she were the mother, with the mother present. It was so in your face. It was really disgusting behavior.
That is awful.
She was given permission to relocate out of state with the other child in the divorce. And I didn't do the divorce. I did not do it. She came to me after it was done. And she was living out of state. And over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, and the child would basically go back and forth from Jersey to this other place. And it was difficult, but they were trying to do it. We think in hindsight that the new woman in his life was so hell-bent on being the mother of this surviving child that they manipulated this drama, this litigation. And over the course of 2 years, they beat this woman down with litigation after litigation after litigation. She ran out of money.
And they took her other child?
And they were able to get custody of the surviving child. Now, go forward a couple more years. This woman's aunt dies. She gets an inheritance.
Good.
She retains me. And we went through the process of trying to regain contact, let alone custody. The father had refused to permit her to have any contact with this 7-year-old.
He is an animal.
So we get a court to finally allow some parenting time. It went all the way to the appellate division, which is on appeal, which we took to the appellate division. We were successful. We came back down, and the court put into place a structure to what we call reunify the mother with the child. Unfortunately, the father, again, did everything he could to stand in the way, to alienate the child from her mother. He would speak to the child, badmouth the mother to the child. And even though the mother and the child were supposed to go to therapy, and she would come all the way from this state, which is like 3 states away, weekly to go to these therapy sessions and to work with this child. This child had a voice, and what the voice said to her was, I don't want to see you. I don't like you. You're not my mother anymore. Which no 7, 8, 9-year-old learns that language except from some adult, right?
Right.
That's right.
That is
Absolutely.
correct.
Yep.
So this woman spent tens of thousands of dollars trying to restore this relationship. She would send this girl, and she photographed everything she sent to her because she wanted to show this daughter, if it came to it later, that I tried. She would photograph all the gifts. Every week she would send the little girl a card. And then on holidays, now she's not seeing this girl at all. The girl refused to see her. Gifts, holiday gifts. Then the father and the little girl and the new wife move overseas. She's now shipping stuff overseas. And she does this. The girl doesn't want anything to do with her. The girl gets married now. She's an adult.
Oh my God.
Still doesn't want anything to do with her. And my client continues to reach out. And over time, she was able to restore that relationship. And you know what was the critical event? When her daughter became a mother.
That's exactly what happens. That
She
happens.
reinitiated, the daughter initiated contact with the mother, and they now have a relationship. But it ended well, not because of anything I did, but I think it just goes to show you what people are willing to endure and what she gave up. It's a sad story, but it does have a happy ending because, she's now in her life
There is no love greater than the love of a mother.
for their child.
Yes,
Yeah.
for their child. Absolutely. There is nothing greater than that. Well, just another reason to Taurus and to George.
Need a salon that's about the whole you? Precision haircuts, flawless makeup, impeccable nails, top-rated professional hair products. Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for a hairstylist who has his finger on the pulse of all the latest trends? Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for a dependable salon with over 35 years in the industry? Anthony Vincent Salon. Looking for New York City and internationally trained stylists that will create the perfect look for you? Anthony Vincent Salon. Shine brightly while walking down the aisle. Anthony Vincent Salon. For longer, thicker, beautiful hair extensions, Anthony Vincent Salon. Incredible makeup applications for weddings, proms, or any special occasions. Anthony Vincent Salon. Have dry, brittle summer hair? Get a hot shot. Anthony Vincent Salon. Before you put a ring on it, manicure it. Anthony Vincent Salon. Your image is their specialty. For the 150,000 hairs on your head, there's only one choice. Anthony Vincent Salon. For a more beautiful you, call now 609-448-2212 and follow them on Twitter.
And now for the fun facts on finance
From a feminine point of view, our very own Dina Cobran.
of DC Alexander Wealth Management.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We are great too.
Fabulous.
That's my word.
I stole it from you.
So what do you have for us today?
Well, you were going to ask me a question, and I'm going to give you an answer.
Okay.
Fabulous. Let's do this. Anthony, ask that question.
Let's talk about, savings. And we were talking about a car, for instance. And we were talking about the cost of a car versus your yearly income.
Yes.
And how sometimes that's way out of balance.
Yes, we were talking about that because we figured out that the average person spends about $480 a month on a car payment, which blows my mind, actually.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing, and I can't even believe that because I would never do that
It's true,
personally.
though.
Right. And so most of the people that are spending $480 a month, and they could be renting the car, leasing the car, even making car payments for 5-6 years on this
Sometimes
payment.
7.
7. Well, that's a long time.
That's
but
a new one.
That's a new one. So if they're doing that, just simple calculations, if they took that same $480 a month and they invest that money into just a simple mutual fund for the 40 years, say, for a young kid, 40 years, it's going to turn into millions of dollars for the retirement. Instead, you're looking at some people that are earning maybe $30,000 a year. They're spending $480 a month. That's about almost 20% of their earnings.
And that's the 20% that really you think that people should save
Right. Ideally,
least.
absolutely. I mean, that's I think a very low number, but that should be the number that people
At
should
least.
get for. Right. And the thing is, when you're spending that kind of money, you're not investing money. People are getting enjoyment out of their car. I get that. But they're spending money on something that is depreciating, meaning you walk out of the parking lot and that value of that car is going down every day. It's never going up. And so you need to think the opposite way of investing money for your future that's going to grow over time instead of going down over time. I mean, it'd be smarter to spend less money and get a less expensive car and take the difference and invest that for their future.
So basically, if you multiply that $480, times, 10, 11, you have a little bit more than $5,000.
Correct.
And so if you really seriously purchase a car, I know that people don't want to necessarily drive a car for $5,000, but if you do that and you're saving money, and then when you have enough money, you can just trade that in and buy something else, that's
absolutely
more, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I have no problem if you're making $10,000 a month and you want to spend, $480 a month and your expenses are low, that's no problem. But if you're spending above your means, I think that's what we have to convey to people is stop spending above your means. Try to live within your means. Try to really focus on that.
That's an interesting thing, though. People don't always know what their means are. And that's where you would come in to help them.
Right. It's all a matter of trying to figure that out and fine tune that. And it's very simple, just by doing a quick budget and looking at how much you're spending over a couple month period.
Do you think maybe in the near future you can teach us how to make a budget?
Sure.
I have no clue how to do a budget. I've been very blessed in my life, but I would love to learn how to do a budget.
I'm sure a lot of people need to learn that. So.
Yeah, people do need to learn that. And it's really not a complicated thing. I mean, just taking, a look at your income versus your expenses and fine tuning that per individuality.
So how can people reach you then so that you can help them do their budget?
Well, you can email me at dkobrin, that's K-O-B as in boy, R-I-N as in Nancy, at nextfinancial.com.
Oh, that's fabulous. And then they can learn their budget also.
Yes, if they want, I could send them a little quick email and a sheet if they want to just have a budget form that they can start with.
What's a budget form?
I know, that sounds funny. Anthony's like, what?
No, I was going to ask that, but I'm afraid to talk.
Well, it's just an outline, and that says budget on the top, and it tells you, where does my money go? I have a few different formats that people can use, and they can probably even just do a simple spreadsheet. Actually, is the simplest way of just putting in all your income, all your expenses, and just looking at it for 2-3 months, and then you will see where your money is going.
Wow. I'd love to see where mine's going.
Do you think maybe the next time we talk, we can delve into that budget thing more? I'm really, really very interested in learning how to format a budget.
Sure, that sounds good. What we'll do is we'll bring in the form and we can pick it apart and try to help people with their managing of their finances.
Fabulous.
Sounds fabulous.
I'm looking forward to that.
See you next time.
See you next time. Bye-bye.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Next Financial Group Incorporated, member FINRA/SIPC. DC Alexander Wealth Management is not an affiliate of Next Financial Group Incorporated. 2346 Route 33, Suite 307, Robbinsville, New Jersey, 08691. Phone number 609-945-7330.
You've been listening to Trend Radio, where we talk about what's hot and what's not every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Learn and laugh with us anytime, any place. Go right to our website, AnthonyVincentSalon.com. Click away and listen today.
And if you have a topic of interest that you want us to talk about, or you'd like to be a guest on our show, email us now at trendradio920@gmail.com. You'll be glad you did.
I'm Anthony Vincent.
And I'm Elise.
We'll talk to you next week.
Bye for now.